Good morning, Quantum Life community. Welcome all the new members. We've had a lot of new people join over the last week to our awesome community here at Quantum Life. And I will be doing a new introduction video, but I wanted to just kind of jump into the exciting announcements that I have for all of our new members and all of our members that have been here since we started. We're over 600, so that's awesome. And most of you guys know by now who I am. I'm Jessica Alstrom. I am a teacher, I am a student, I'm a messenger, and today I'm going to be doing a channeled Q&A based on the questions that you guys have been leaving underneath the comments all week long. First, let me jump into the exciting news. First and foremost, what I have been doing myself is working on my own patterns, which a lot of you guys know I've been teaching a lot about lately. If you've listened to the podcasts or if you've been following the recent work that we've been doing in TICA. And in doing one of my pattern clearings, I really sat down and did a heart-to-heart with my higher guidance, which is my higher self, which is what I channel when I'm teaching, and asked if I was in alignment with my mission. And my mission is been very clear for about 7 years now, and that I just want to help people become the best versions of themselves, and to me that's their higher self, which is that unlimited superhero within you, and that has no fear, that has absolute courage, that has absolute knowing and trust for themselves and for the direction that we're all heading. And that is my highest excitement, is to help as many people back to that connection of higher self and live as that connection. And that's always been my my mission. And that's why I opened Transcendence Wellness Center, and that's why I started TICA, which is Transcendence International Consciousness Academy, and that's why I get up every morning and do these channeled messages. And it's been an amazing journey, but I've been asking, if I've been in alignment with my mission, and my mission is to reach as many possible people as I possibly can. And that's why I started doing podcasts. But over the last couple of months, I have been feeling like I want to expand the audience, and I want to gift anybody who's ready for quantum spirituality to be able to access it, not just people who can afford a year of TICA. And I've really been sitting with this and contemplating how I can deliver the work that I'm doing in our TICA groups to the masses, and make it affordable, and make it transparent, and make it accessible any time of the day, just being one click away, because I know it's you guys who are in your car driving to work that are listening to the podcast, or while you're cooking dinner, or while you're doing a million other things is when you're tuning in, and I want to make it accessible for you. We've got people in TICA all over the world that stay up in the middle of the night to attend Thursday classes, and we love you for that. We're in over 14 countries. We love the work we're doing. We love the results that we're getting. We're empowering teachers all over the world. And I just want to make it more accessible for anyone who's ready to become their own life coach, to become their own specialist of themselves. And so what I've decided to do is create a couple of different avenues for expanded connection. I will tell you guys, it's not this work, it's not the information that travels through me that helps you guys. It's the support, it's the confirmation that you're getting from me. It's the space that I'm holding, it's the mirror that I'm reflecting back that empowers you to know in your heart you knew the answer all along. And that is my strong point. My strong point is bringing people together and building relationships around common mission and the common knowing that we're here to be the essence of love. And the support system is actually what's going to help propel you guys the fastest, and being able to connect with each other, and be able to talk about the things that you're going through without judgment, and really feel like you have a family and a tribe. And we have really created that with TICA. TICA has its own messenger, TICA has its own Facebook group, it has its own groups. We do trips together, we travel together, we're working Thursday nights, Saturdays as a group all over the world, and I want to gift anybody who is ready to experience that they too can have that for just the subscription charge. So basically what I'm doing is I'm gifting TICA away, And that will mean that you guys have access to all of my work, all of my channeled work, all of the work that we're producing on Thursday nights will be live broadcasted in Quantum Life TICA, which has changed the group. So the subscription group, that is where I do most of my expanded teachings, just got bigger, and it just got expanded. And basically I'm combining TICA, which is Transcendence International Consciousness Academy, into Quantum Life subscription page, all for that same $22 price a month. And what you get from that is you will get all of the teachings that we're doing in TICA. You will get access to anything that we create in the now moment. That doesn't give you access to the archives over the last 2 years of curriculum. It does not give you the certifications that we assign in those groups. But what it does do is it gives you the information that's coming right from source, that's being channeled for the collective process right now of the ascension. And I feel very excited about being able to just give that away and expand our audience and expand our reach and be able to really fulfill the mission that I set forth to deliver on the planet. So that's exciting. We have also created a group that Amber will be posting the link in this message, and that group is called Quantum Life Tribe, and that is going to be an interactive Facebook group that is for all free members and all paid members to interact, share videos, share information, share videos that you're making of yourself, sharing your own podcasts, connect with other students all over the world, and be able to kind of process together what it is that we're going through. You know, we do something in TICA where all of our students will post their live videos in the group about what they're going through, their challenges, or purging videos of, here, I need to tell you all my darkest secrets. And just being able to have a place to go and connect with other students all over the world has been extremely therapeutic for people. Thanks, Amber. She just posted the link. We will not put you in that group, but that group is something that you can go to and you can join, whether you're in the free group or you're in the subscription group. That is your new world for interaction and connection and support. We do ask you that you keep it all quantum, which means no judgment, no perspectives, just the frequency of love or above. Keep it light, keep it healthy. Doesn't mean you can't share what you're going through. Stay out of the victim zone, and if you're there to ask for guidance or assistance, great, but we're not going to pollute that space, which is exactly why I haven't created that space before. You know, I watched other spiritual teachers create groups, and you know, it gets 100,000 people of, you know, everybody complaining in there, and that's not what we're doing here. We're here to empower and to hold space for each other. So that group, Quantum Life Tribe, is for you to go and play, and for you to share who you're becoming, and share, you know, how you overcame or what you're going through, and asking for assistance of other students and connect with like-minded people. So that is also accessible for any TICA students, any alumni TICA students, any teachers, any AT members. So we will all be kind of utilizing that to do our group mastermind group think tank in there. So feel free to join that, again, whether you're in the free group or the paid group. And I will be doing a brand new introduction for the community since we've had so many people join. And otherwise, we're going to jump into our question and answer. I decided to do that outside today because it's such a beautiful day. We had rain this morning, and I'm going to just read off your questions off my laptop. And we're going to get into our channeled message today. And yeah, so we'll go from there. So the topic of the question and answer this week that I really wanted you guys to ponder, which is what everybody's kind of reflecting right now, is, I'll tell you, the space that we're moving through right now is trigger in relationships. We're finding lots of space of triggers that we've had with relationships of spouse, children, co-workers, you know, spiritual groups, whatever. You're noticing that the heaviness around the collective right now is the process of relationships. We're working through a lot of that sacral energy and clearing out a lot of that solar plexus inner forgotten power that we've had stored in there. So that was kind of the topic that I wanted you guys to think through before you listed your questions. And so I think we have some really great questions, so I'm just going to jump in. Also, you guys, the way that I channel is that I don't have to, connect. I always stay connected through my heart center, which means that I have access to my higher self anytime that I'm actually in my heart. And if I don't have the answer to a question, or if I'm not able to just allow my communication to flow, I know that I'm not in my heart, I'm in my head. And if I'm in my head, that I'm logicking it, and then I'm putting answers together through ego components of memories. And that is not, that's not going to be a clear channel for me. So the way that I channel is I just drop into my heart space. And the way that you drop into your heart space, if you're unfamiliar with that zone of your body and your energy field, is you just think about something that warms you unconditionally, something you have no judgment on, something that is a place in your soul that is completely pure. And you will feel an expansion and a warmness as soon as you connect with the thought. I always use my children, think back when they were babies, and instantly my heart warms and I can go right into my heart space. And then when I ask a question or I read a question, I'm literally reading it through my heart center, and so it's coming through a pure channel. Okay, so let's jump in. So Billy Joe, welcome. Okay, so and you guys, all that are in Quantum Life Paid, welcome to TICA. All right, so, and anybody who's wanting to join, just reach out and let us know, and we will get you in there, and it's going to be a fast-moving ride. So we will look forward to connecting with you. Billy Joe, okay, so her question is, oops. Oh, shoot. Just lost it. Hold on, I gotta go back. Discussion. Alright. I think here we go. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. There's me being live. Okay. Here's the questions. Alright. Trigger. A trigger is anything that sets you off emotionally and activates memories of your trauma. And there's the wind. Triggered, we relive the feelings and behaviors we had during the traumatization. Okay? Sorry, we got Mother Nature here today. Let me jump in. Oh, we got Amy Lynn above her. I'm glad I pulled it up. So, Amy, and Amy's one of my dear friends, and so she's actually wanting me to make a podcast on this, so I'm going to answer her question, but I'm also going to be doing a podcast. It's called Parenting the New Kids, and this will help you guys tremendously understand exactly where your children are, where their behavior lies within their frequencies. So her question is, well, you already know mine, but I'll put it out there anyways for anyone else who has kids. Kids playing video games, and that being the only thing that seems to be motivating them to do. I'm talking older teenage boy. So, and I had this discussion with my teammates a little bit ago, and matter of fact, I even brought it up a little bit in TICA last night. Everything that brings us joy in our life is exactly what we should be doing. And one of the ways that the universe expands is through desire. And desire is the frequency of wanting, okay? And that's really when we are looking at something quantumly and we are asking for something. In that moment, it is expanding the universe and making it bigger and making space for things that have never been there before to be able to fill that empty space. And a lot of the children that are coming in already have the frequency of 5D or 6D. Now 5 and 6D is the complete understanding of self as virtual reality. Okay? So virtual reality feels more like home to several of these new children than Mother Nature herself. Because literally the planet herself is virtual reality. It's an illusion of projected images, and through beliefs we generate our characters, and we generate where the characters are playing in and who they're playing with. So a lot of the children that are coming in are extremely bored with third-dimensional reality because there's no building that can happen instantly. So they feel safer and they feel more authentic in the virtual worlds. They feel more in alignment with who they are when they're in the virtual world, which is why children are drawn to technology. They know how technology works. The web itself is a fourth dimensional connection of the Akashic records. Anything you could possibly want to know at any given moment is basically you could be found on the internet, which is how fast 5 and 6D minds work. It's instant. They want instant change, instant results, instant manifestation. And so as these children are sitting home playing video games for 12 hours a day, you look at them through your third dimensional reality and think lazy, unmotivated, undriven, unsocial, a lack of being in the real world. And what they're telling you is, Mama, this is how it's done. This virtual reality is how you're creating your reality, but you think that you are this third dimensional being. So I'm actually holding space. I'm actually putting the codes in through my frequency and my desire point and my vision, saying that this is real. And you really have to go into a higher frequency to understand these kids, because these kids are your teachers. They are not your children in the way that you think they are. They are not here to learn from you. They are older souls. They are highly evolved in the DNA structure. They're sensitive. Okay, they're empathic beyond measure, which means that they don't feel necessarily safe being out in social situations the way that you have, how you have become comfortable. Like you've conformed yourself to be able to have to exist in society because you had no choice. But these kids have a choice. They're saying, you know what, it doesn't feel good out there to be with all that pain. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to hold space for this intention that this is virtual reality, and I'm going to play virtual reality all day long, and it's going to be my highest joy, because whatever is my highest joy is putting in the universe the expression of divine love and experience. So they are having their desired reality. They're also downloading coordinates on how to change systems, which means that these children are learning technology so much faster than we are, and it's allowing them to understand what we're going to need in the future to clean up the planet, to be able to speak to each other instantly, to be able to heal ourselves. Because what they're doing right now is they're holding the frequency of their highest excitements, and when the coordinates come on with inside of their bodies of what their divine purpose is, they will either put the keyboard down and go create purified water system that's all done through technology, or they will join a group of people who are generating new types of buildings all through virtual reality. Right now they're practicing. Now think about when you were a child. You were practicing being the teacher. You were practicing all the things that you're doing now. And what they are doing is they are getting ready for the future. The future will be the shamanic and the newest, cleanest technologies. So what they are doing is they are filtrating their whole systems by dumping in the collective, holding space for exactly what their potential will become. You may look at it like they're pissing their life away. But if you went into a higher perspective and noticed what they were doing is they were following their highest joy. They were living in a virtual reality just like you, but they were interacting with more of a choice, which means they have more of a choice than you do when they're playing virtual reality. They're changing their character, they're building worlds, they're designing things. So you may, as a child, went and built a fort outside, and your child is on Minecraft or building a fort online. Who is to judge whether one is right or one is wrong? You could say, well, they're not healthy because they're not getting exercise. See, this is where you have to create balance for your own family, which means that I'm not saying, let your kid play video games for 24 hours a day and not let them get any nature or any air. But what you can do is you can teach them about balance. You can teach them about the understanding of nature. You can have them, I know you love to play virtual reality games, but let's break up some of the time and spend at least 30 minutes in nature thinking about, you can even be thinking about the games you want to play, but just do it outside. And to get them to move their bodies, okay? And you get them to move their bodies by also teaching them how to be empaths. A lot of these kids that are at home that don't want to go outside, it isn't because they don't want to socialize, it's because they don't feel safe to. They don't know how to deal with their own empathetic feelings, which is, I feel other people's pain, and I don't want to feel that. So as a mom, as an indigo mom, your job is to teach them how to use their empathy. Sit down with them and say, how do you feel when you're in social situations? When you're around someone that you don't know, what's coming up for you? Conversate with your kids about what it feels like for them to not feel the safety of their virtual reality. And then you'll see inside of them your own patterns, because your children are your teachers. Your children are holding a lot of your old wounding inside of them because they love you so unconditionally. They're literally going to hold those feelings that you have trapped inside of you, and you're going to find out that you feel exactly the same way they do, but you haven't had a choice. See, you've given your children a lot more choice than you had. So there's also an old wound of resentment that lies within them that they get to just kind of piss away their lives, and that's not what's happening at all. They're holding space for exactly who they're going to become. Just like you practice being a kid, they're practicing to be in the new world, and you don't know what that looks like. So you have to go into a higher perspective with these kids, and I will do an entire podcast on all the different types of kids: the crystal kids, the indigo kids, the warrior kids, the artistic kids, the technology kids. There are all of these different kids that are holding different frequencies in their vibration, all for a divine purpose of where they're going in the future, because this world needs to be rebuilt. This world needs to be regenerated. It needs to be cleaned. It needs to be totally reorganized. And the practice that these kids are having right now are also facilitating the understanding of how the new technologies are working, because they're so driven to play these games that they're actually learning how to code. They're learning how to teach other people how to do it, and gaming is an art. It can be viewed the same way that sports can be viewed. But we have to remember that we live in a social culture that certain things are frowned upon, just like being an alcoholic is frowned upon, but so is being overweight. So you have to look at where your personal judgment lies, and then if you need to create healthy boundaries in your family where you're going, okay, if gaming is your highest excitement, and you're also, at home because of your empathic wounds, then you need to be able to nurture those wounds. And what you're going to discover is the reason why you haven't is because you're going to discover your own hidden inside of them. Okay? So hopefully that helped. And I will be doing that podcast this week, but it will be audio, and it will be on YouTube and this group site. Okay. So let's go to the next one. Billy Joe. My biggest trigger is being lied to. The anger and anxiety I get towards the person who has lied can sometimes be debilitating, especially when it is an intimate relationship. It causes me to start doubting everything about them. Also, having someone lie about me does almost the same thing. This is actually something that we've been talking about a lot in TICA. And this is going to be an accelerated teaching. This is going to be a TICA teaching, which is quantum. And everything that I teach is always about reflection and projection. Everything I teach about is going to be frequency and vibration. This is not my opinion, okay? So this is important that you understand that this is not my opinion, that this is coming from access of understanding that the universe is frequency, vibration, and projection and reflection. So everyone is a version of you. Everyone. So when anyone does anything to you, it is a message that you yourself are doing something to yourself. And I will tell you, the people who hate liars are lying somewhere to themselves. And I know that's hard to hear, but when you hate anything, it is because you yourself are doing it, and then you bury the fact that you're doing it, and you bury it so deeply that it's now become a shadow, and that shadow now will have to be projected and reflected by someone else. If someone lies to you and it feels like there's no trigger, Like, that's their story. I don't know why they feel like they need to lie. They must be lying to themselves. That is their projection. If you are triggered by the lie, it is your reflection. This is important. Projection, reflection. They are reflecting back to you something about yourself that you need to discover. So my question for you is to sit and breathe and ask yourself, where am I lying to myself? Where am I lying to myself? And what you will do is, if you go on that journey, anytime you ask an open-ended question like that, Spirit is right there. And if you ask from your heart space, you'll get a clear answer immediately. And you'll find that you have been lying to yourself about something that is either love-based or expansion-based. And this person gave you a gift because it triggered you. And the trigger is the teacher. The trigger is the guru. The trigger is the marker that there's trauma. So why would one lie to themselves? Well, first and foremost, from a young age, and I can tell that you have a lot of indigo energy, you have a lot of psychic energy built up within you. You have denied a lot to yourself. You have not been allowed to be authentic. You have not been allowed to express yourself freely because there's been many, many safety issues in your timeline. And so what we do is we abandon ourselves, and then we disassociate from ourselves, and then we lie to ourselves about that. And lying is not a bad word. Lying is covering up the truth. That's all that means. It's covering up something. And why does one lie? Why would someone lie to you? Someone does not lie to you to hurt you. They usually lie to protect you. Okay? Now, if someone is lying about you and it is hurting you, where are you hurting yourself? Where are you denying yourself? Where are you suffering within yourself? That is self-judgment. Where is the self-judgment buried way below the surface? Because every word that comes out of everybody's mouth that has any form of a trigger, it is alive and well within you. You would not be triggered by anything that you didn't contain the truth of within. Okay? That's a hard teaching. There's a lot of responsibility in that teaching right there. But remember, responsibility is the ability to respond. It's not a bad word. It's not a grown-up word. It's, can we respond to the fact that I just got lied to? And instead of getting really mad and attacking someone or feeling judged by someone, say, this person is lying to me. It's triggering me. Where am I lying to myself because they just gave me a gift? It doesn't mean that after you process where you find where you've been lying to yourself, that you sit down with this person and say, you know what, I'm going to make it safe for me to tell my own truth, and it's okay for you to tell me the truth. And then you could clean up those relationships through compassionate communication. Okay? So it really resides within you. Anything that triggers you is within you. You have created it. You are the creator of your reality. So when someone triggers you, it is coming directly through the subconscious, being channeled out of someone else's mouth, gifted right to you. And it could be person, place, or thing. It doesn't have to be something that someone does. It could be an action. It could be a car accident. It could be someone stealing your wallet. That is a perfect reflection of you. Someone stealing your wallet is a reflection of you don't feel safe. Okay? And then your reality will prove that to you, because everyone is co-creating your journey for you, and you are co-creating their journey for them, because you are playing virtual reality, which means everyone needs to show up exactly how you believe in your heart and mind how people are treating you and how you're treating yourself. Projection, reflection. Okay, we teach a lot about that in TICA. And then this way, nobody's a victim, and we can't hide behind spiritual dogma of karma. Even though it is karma, what you put out is what you get back. You're lying to yourself, I can guarantee someone's going to lie to you. If someone is hurting you, I can guarantee you you're hurting yourself somewhere. You're not being kind to yourself. You're not nurturing yourself. You're sabotaging yourself somewhere. And then all of a sudden your friendship starts sabotaging you. And all you have to do is go, wow, thank you for the gift of showing me where I am reflecting. And thank you for projecting. Because again, it doesn't mean that they're not projecting their own stuff on you. They are. But if it triggers you, it's yours too. If it doesn't trigger you, it's not your stuff. You've probably watched two people fight that are all triggered with each other, and you're sitting there like completely neutral, like, whoa, that's really silly. They're both right and they're both wrong. There's zero trigger. But when you're triggered, it is your stuff. It is your reflection. And taking ownership of that is the master game. Because until you find those reflections down deep within you, you will keep manifesting liars. You will keep manifesting people talking behind your back. Okay? All right. Awesome. Go to the next question here. Suzette, I got triggered by people asking pointless questions and small talk. Okay. Been there for sure. Let me see if there's anything expanded on that. Getting triggered by 3D people. Okay, I could write a book. And, in the beginning, I'll tell you, there's a couple of different phases of the spiritual journey. And I'll tell you all of the ones that I went through. First, I woke up and started to understand who I was and how the universe worked. And, never felt more excited by life, never felt more excited by the information I read, and never felt less excited about people and their victim-based stories and, the small talk and so-and-so's got cancer and, the stories that we find ourselves surrounded in after we've awoken. But it goes back to the exact same format of the question that I just asked. And I didn't realize this in the beginning until I moved into my, third and fourth stages of my journey, was my trigger of their mindless conversation was also coming from a reflection of myself. I was judging parts of myself, and so I was judging them. I was judging the conversations that they were having with each other. And I was like, oh my gosh, are they really talking about that? Because the thing is you now understand so much more of how the universe works than anybody else. So your job is to find the wounds in the people that are talking and say, well, they're not seen, they're not heard, they're not loved, they're not nurtured, and they're doing the best they can from their level of awareness. And so if I'm triggered by this, what I really need to do is I need to handle any self-judgment that I have about me not being totally enlightened. And then I need to ask the universe for more like-minded people to come into my life. Because again, part of knowing what you want is seeing what you don't want. And being around people who are not on their journey, those people are just as important as you. Because those people are here to hold space for the 3D reality. They're here to hold the frequency of desire. They're here to hold the frequency of asking for change. You're in the frequency of creating change. So we need everyone exactly where they are on their journeys to actually create the ascension process. There are people who literally have decided to stay behind and not fully awaken so that you may be the light in the dark. Okay, so they have a dark attitude, they have a closed mind, they have a negative mind, they have a closed perspective, they're ignorant, they don't understand metaphysics. So that is what they are choosing. That's the level of awareness that they are choosing to reside, and they are holding a very, very important place, marker on the planet. And your job is, if you're judging them or if you're triggered by them, there is parts of yourself that still feel unawakened, that you are judging, that you are not realizing that you're judging, and so it is their projection and your reflection. So after you clear that and find those judgmental thoughts that you have towards self, and find the places of yourself where you feel ignorant, and find the places of yourself where you're still playing the victim game that they're playing. See, the thing is once we get on the spiritual journey, we don't think we're victims anymore because we have the positive talk. But look at your reality. Look at the things you do day to day. Look at where your codependencies are. Look at where you're still in fear. Look at where you're still plugged into the matrix. They're plugged into the matrix. You're plugged into the matrix. But you don't think you're plugged into the matrix because you have access to the universal information. But if you dive down deep, just because on the surface you're not discussing the things that they're discussing doesn't mean that you still don't have the same belief systems, and that's why it's triggering you. And I went through this, and I was like, oh, self-judgment. I'm still connected to the matrix, even though I'm aware of the matrix and I don't think that I'm in the matrix. I was still plugged in because I was still working a 3D job, and I was still having to pay my bills the way that everybody else had to. So again, look at where you are not that much different than them, and look at where you're judging your 3D versions of yourselves. And then as you clear that, then what you start to see in them is just the wounds and the level of awareness where they're doing the best they can from where they are. They've also chosen to hold space in the frequency of desire, which is the first step of manifestation. And that right there is very important for us all to be evolved. See, on a ladder, there has to be someone at the bottom in order for us to get to the top. So everybody is perfect wherever they are. Now, if you choose to hang around more like-minded people, then you've got to raise your frequency so that you can attract more like-minded people, and because your frequency determines the characters that show up in your reality. Okay? So hopefully that helped. I feel like this is like tough love today, but everything I've gone through myself. Okay, Maria, being told by your mom when you ask how you feel, don't be so silly. Being told by your mom when you ask. Okay, so again, projection, reflection seems to be the object of today. So, you know, our intimate relationships, mom, dad, brother, sister, spouse, children, they can trigger us the best. They know what buttons to push. If you guys have ever read that book, Little Soul in the Sun, you will realize that the people who love you the most sometimes are here to play your shadow aspect. They're here to push your buttons because they're here to find where your shadow is. You do not ascend and move into an alchemy process unless you discover and uncover all of your dark shadows. It's kind of like you have to dig down in dirt to get gold. So these people who will have incarnated with you as your intimate relationships are here to trigger you the most because they are here to expose the dirt. So when mom says you're silly for the way you feel, all she's doing is triggering the fact that you've never been allowed to be authentic around your family. That's your work, your reflection, her projection, which means that she feels silly about herself. Ego is highly, highly, highly hypocritical. Most everything that comes out of people's mouth that's negative is actually how they feel about themselves. Now, whether or not you take that personally, that is your reflection. If you don't take it personally, it's just their projection, which means when someone says, you're a liar, what they're actually saying is I'm lying to myself somewhere and I'm mad at you because I don't know how to be mad at me because I don't even know I'm doing it. It's so subconscious. So most everything we do in TICA is subconscious, unconscious pulling. We're rooting everything from down there because the thing is everything from down there is creating what happens up here. Everything that's manifesting is manifesting from conscious, subconscious, and unconscious programs that are running. So people who are triggering you are letting you know where your programs are running. So if mom says you're silly and that triggers you into feeling like it's not safe for me to be authentic or have the feelings that I want to have, then I can go back to my first 7 years and realize that I created a program where I'm not allowed to be authentic. Like what I have to say doesn't matter. And you'll discover that pattern and then you'll look and find those other patterns and the triggers, and you'll notice that you're constantly getting triggered by that. And then you can do your pattern trigger work. You can do your clearing, you can do your time travel, and you can get up to speed with that. But the intimate relationships are literally here to push you the fastest. They're here to push you into self-love by not loving you unconditionally. They're here to expose all of your wounds. They're here to show you all your programs, because anything that below the surface that you are unaware of needs to be projected into a trigger or into a reflection so that you can see where you're vibrating. Okay? All right. Okay, Mary, not listed in particular order. Number 1, our current administration, lack of transparency. Projection, reflection. Where are you not being totally transparent? If you have an issue with your government, you created the government. And I'm not directing this at you, Mary. I'm directing this at anyone who has negative feelings towards government. This is how it's all created. And if you're in TICA, you understand this as second nature. First, I create myself. And then I figure out who I am in that self based on the people around me. And I either disassociate from myself or abandon myself based on how safe I feel to be myself. And if I abandon myself, then I'm going to need someone to take care of me. And then I'm going to create parents. And those parents are saying, well, I'm still a child who doesn't know how to take care of me. So I'm going to create society. And society's got to create someone to take care of them, and they create government. So basically what this is it's a mass projection and reflection of us not being responsible for our own energies, our own vibration, and our own conditions. And so what we've done is we've created a government that is literally imploding and showing us all of their shadow aspects right before our eyes so that we can see where we are personally vibrating and we can take personal responsibility. So anything that triggers you in your government is also something that is being projected within inside of you. If there's a war out there, there's a war inside of here. It is just projection, reflection, and it is just frequency and vibration, which means that what you'll notice as you do this inner work and you start to get really, really pure within who you are, within yourself, you start telling yourself the truth, you start self-loving, you stop the fight between ego and soul, you stop the fight between your ego and your body and your soul, and you really start getting on the same page. What will happen is when enough people do that, the government will dissolve. We will self-govern, which is what we actually need to do, which is the only work you ever need to do on self. You don't need to go and picket and do anything, because you can't solve a problem with a problem. If the problem is being generated from our virtual reality that's being birthed from our perspective of our energy field, then what we've done is we've disassociated from our own feelings so much that we've handed someone else the power and said, take care of me. And now we don't like how they're doing that. So if we don't like how they're doing that, then we've got to go back to the root, which is my frequency that's creating the whole virtual reality, and I've got to go back to the game board and go, I don't really like this government that's not serving the people. I don't really like this government that's not being transparent. So where am I not being transparent? Where am I lying to myself? Where am I not taking care of myself and expecting other people to take care of me? Okay? This is some serious self-love today, guys. Sorry about this, but this is some really heavy stuff we teach in TICA, and if you're going to be on this journey, there's a difference between being on the spiritual journey and being responsible for your journey. If you're going to be on the spiritual journey, then I advise you not to be in the community, because you can go read the books, you can feel better, you can take the classes, you can get certifications, you can get energy work done. But if you're not going to put any of this into your own body of work, which means if you're not going to walk your talk, then that is going to be something that is going to trigger you. You're going to be triggered by me. I'm going to be your trigger. And I'm okay with that. I know I'm here to play the light and the dark. So if I trigger you and go, oh, she doesn't get what I'm saying, that's fine, because I've planted a seed for later when this all comes to fruition, because it will come up again. You cannot, it's like you can't go backwards. Once you're on your journey, you can't go backwards. You can't unknow what you know. But this time and space, this year, 2017, is basically walk our talk. Walk what we know about frequency and vibration. Become the aspect of love, which means I have to become love if I'm going to heal this planet. I can't be part of the problem. I can't fight Monsanto. I can't fight my government and be part of the solution. I have to love the fact that we're playing a game here, and that the war is not on food, energy, it's not on money, it's the war on love. And the only ammunition that we have is love. First, we love ourselves unconditionally, and then we unconditionally everybody else's projections, and then we love unconditionally the world's projections, and then everything dissipates back into love and light. This is how the ascension process will work. But we have to take personal responsibility for what triggers us, because that is what lies below the surface. Okay? And this Cancer energy that we've got on the planet is really going to be assisting with us, like allowing all of this emotional stuff to come to the surface. Okay. All right, Sherry. I'm in multiple Facebook groups, and I get triggered when people argue and get nasty to each other over different opinions or experiences. I usually leave these groups. I also hate it when I'm talking to my partner and he jumps in with an argument about, hold on, got to expand the question. My partner, argument about the story without hearing me out. It feels condescending and invalidating and shuts me down. This doesn't happen often anymore, but I find I am even more triggered now about it than I was in the past. Okay. Well, again, everything goes back to projection reflection. So, first and foremost, if you're on Facebook groups that do not expand your ability to love yourself and others, I would recommend being more picky. Okay, picky with the Facebook groups, meaning I have 5,000 friends on Facebook, and not one person on my Facebook wall is negative. And the reason why is because I don't allow it. If someone puts something negative on my wall, I defriend them. If someone puts something political that's coming from a victim-based reality, I defriend them. Because I choose, see, the thing about boundaries is self-respect. And we taught this in TICA 2 weeks ago. Self-respect is actually how, it's a backdoor way to find self-love. If I'm putting myself in situations that constantly are triggering me, where I don't feel like I have support, or I'm feeling like there's drama. See, drama is a drug. Drama is a drug just like alcohol. And we are all warriors inside of us. All of us indigos and empaths and light workers, we have this natural intuition of wanting to fight for our truth and stand up for what we believe in. But the thing is if we go back to the root of projection and reflection, and I'm fighting against someone who has a different opinion of me, what does that actually say about me if I'm triggered by it? Everybody's going to have a different opinion of me, because everybody literally lives in a different universe. Even the closest person to you, your spouse, has their own universe, you inverse. It's their story. It's their memories mixed with their spirituality, mixed with their soul contracts, mixed with their divine purpose. And they are not going to see the world through your eyes, because you're going to see the eyes through your filtration system, which means it's a combination of your memories, your wounding, your traumas, your experiences, your ability to love, your lineage, your fact that you're a woman and you're carrying that drama in your body. And then we have these opinions, and when people don't understand our opinions and we get challenged by that, or we get triggered by that, it's just, where am I not in total understanding and harmony of self? And why am I allowing myself to get into a political or a conversation that actually makes me feel contracting? This is what I say in TICA every week. Don't do anything that contracts you. If it contracts you, it's actually going to pull you back on the timeline into your past. Stick with things that expand you, that open you up, that make you feel important to yourself and others. Go where you're needed. Go where you're seen and heard. Choose people who choose you. Invest in people who are investing in themselves. Because when you don't invest in people who are not investing in yourselves, what you're going to do is you're going to try to be the peacemaker, you're going to be the caretaker, you're going to be the one that's constantly cleaning up the drama. Like I said, drama is a drug, and people will pursue drama just like they will pursue alcohol, because it feeds the adrenaline system and it gives them the power to fight when they don't feel like they have a fight. They feel maybe people who love drama are people who feel very disempowered inside. And so again, if you look at how ego works, it's always trying to create that duality within of itself and balance itself out. So if I feel very disempowered, I'm going to go out of my way to challenge someone and fight them on their opinion. And really, you need to ask yourself, does this expand my life or contract my life after I get off this group? You know, because then I'm getting all triggered and I'm getting all fired up and I'm getting all this negative energy, and then I'm going and talking to my spouse about it, who's not in that same vibration or not in understanding what I just witnessed, and then I'm trying to speak my truth, and then I'm not seen and heard for what I need to be seen and heard in. It's almost like you're not getting the validation that you want, and really you want to go at the root of, how is this serving you? You know, to me, in a world that is constantly challenging us, we have choice where we put our energy, who we spend our time with, who our tribe is, who our people are. And just because you may have family, friends that do not believe in the same thing you do, you have a choice in how much of your energy you give them. And it sounds like this is more about self-love and projection and reflection than it has to do with any of the Facebook groups or even your spouse. So really think about that projection reflection aspect, and then go back to that drawing board. And I mean, I've literally been addicted to drama at times, and I'm like, why am I looking at this? Like, this doesn't feed me, this contracts me. But my ego is drawn to anything like a train wreck. And then I'm going to get all fired up about it, and then I'm going to waste 3 hours and be in a lower vibration and possibly manifest something that I don't want because I've been in a lower vibration all day. So again, it's about being aware and choosing what it is that you want to participate in, and then asking yourself, am I getting triggered? Then what are they saying that holds truth for me that I need to clear about myself? And then giving them back their projection for them to deal with. Okay? All right. Oh, and I'm triggered by the political climate right now. Well, we just answered that. So, all right. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm not going to be a spiritual teacher that's going to jump on the political bandwagon, because your government is a creation of your own ego that you have, that we have. I'm not saying you. We have created and then disassociated from. So that's what our government is, and that's why it's so apparently ugly right now, because it's in our face, just like all of our other triggers. All right. Everything, people, places, and things. Oh my, having to do new things. Why? Smash, smash. And don't work. Me. People, boo-hoo. People. The mirrors. Cannot do. Don't know how. Getting the dumb look off your face. Okay, so it sounds like just people in general are just kind of pissing you off, Alex. So basically what that would, if I was just going to give you some serious tough love, I would say watch the rest of the segments, because again, it's projection reflection. But then ask yourself, why do I choose to hold the frequency where I'm even vibrating? See, the thing is if we're going to get advanced teaching really quick, you are only around the people that you are a vibrational match to. Sorry, that's true. Doesn't mean it's conscious. It means somewhere unconscious. You are the mirror. You are that person that's underneath. And maybe it's a deflection of you never being able to be the one that got the attention. You were never allowed to complain. You were never allowed for it to be about you. And so when you see people doing that so arrogantly and ignorantly, it really triggers your inner child, because you weren't allowed to make it all about you. You weren't allowed to be selfish. You weren't allowed to be lazy. Okay? This goes for you parents. See, that's also a trigger, as of what you have had denied to you will also trigger you. So what you're denying to yourself now will still be alive and well. And what you could say is, wow, they're really manifesting a reality where they get to be spoiled brats and ignorant and asleep and 3D. Maybe I should generate a reality where I get to be evolved 5D, be the master of my reality, and work through all the patterns that are still in resonance with the people who keep showing up in my life. Because the people who keep showing up in your life is a direct reflection of what's buried in your subconscious. And you know by the characters and the people that you attract, moment by moment by moment, where you are vibrating, because your reality is your guru, it is your spiritual teacher. And when all of a sudden people start showing up and telling you how awesome life is and how awesome you are, you know that you've cleared some programs and that you're moving towards self-love. So again, this whole thing, this whole trigger conversation is just a lesson in projection and reflection, and where am I vibrating, and where can I take responsibility for my inner child still suffering because I'm watching people suffer, and where can I clear that? I would recommend $22 a month. Jump over to my Quantum Life group, because that's where I teach you guys how to clear all of these patterns. That's where I teach you guys how to actually raise your frequency by getting rid of your ego filtration system that's keeping you lodged in this third dimensional money trap and relationship traps and body traps and time management traps, and not living your joyful expression of who you are. Okay? But only if you're ready, because it's fast and furious over there. And I'm going to hold myself accountable for all of my programs that are vibrating in a lower frequency, so that I can live my highest expression of higher self, no matter what it takes. I will never give up on myself. And if I'm never going to give up on myself, I'm never going to give up on you guys. And I will continue to do this work until we are all walking side by side together as teachers, as messengers, and deliver the messages through our hearts and our own unique ways of showing the world who our higher selves is. Remember, superheroes come in all shapes and sizes, and they all have different really cool abilities. So you're not here to do necessarily what I'm here to do, but you are here to become your higher self And as soon as you are in that higher self, those coordinates come forth about what that divine purpose is, but not if you're stuck in the blame game, suffering, lack, wounded energies of the past. We've got to allow those to come to the surface so they can all be cleared, and then we can move into that higher place of ecstasy and heaven on earth. All right. So thank you guys for joining me. I'm getting ready to go over into the TICA group, which is now Quantum Life. Anybody who wants to come over there, I'm going to be doing their channeled question and answer, and we will be putting last night's class in that group this week, and I'll tell you, it was intense. It was all about finding the symbols of the patterns that are keeping you stuck, blocked, and basically parts of you asleep, because the parts of you that are blocked are honestly the parts of you that are still asleep, and that's going to be triggering you and others. So I invite everyone to come over and join me in TICA now. It's going to be open to everyone, and join our new group so that you can chat with each other. Let's keep it high vibration. Let's keep in mind that everything is a projection and reflection of what we say, and let's use it to empower and to connect and support each other. All right, guys, have a great Friday, and I will see you soon.